The music.
Yeah.
Yeti. It has two legs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadowchat Show.
Hi, everyone. On a side note, you ever notice that the classification of big feet just happens to match the same as bears? There's like the normal Bigfoot, which is brown. Then there's like the Sasquatch, which is black. Then there's the Yeti, that's white.
Uh-huh.
You ever notice that?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they're one and the same, or three in the triplets.
And they have the same temperament generally too. I
Yeah,
just thought of that. It just
it's
occurred to
funny
me.
how the white ones will eat and kill just about any damn thing that comes near them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Don't get the white ones mad. Don't get the white ones mad.
yeah. So how you doing, brother?
Okay. Like
Yeah,
I told you before the show, file keeping, but
I had a really good game with OGGM. Uh,
good to
I
know.
seriously, I haven't laughed that much in a good long time. So thanks everybody who was in that one. It was just a lot of goofy fun, you know. Uh, enough like the right mix of serious and silly. Whereas mine, I think, is a little more to one end of the spectrum than the other, which is where I want it. But for every once in a while, you know, because I'm in other games that are like
Mhm.
deadly serious, or
I couldn't do that.
yeah, you got to be able to crack a joke. I mean, life's too short not to laugh your ass off. And literally, you know, I was not getting tired of laughing, but I could feel it, you know, right here, you know, when
Hmm.
you've had one of those get-togethers that was just, you know,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
Cal's mic was a little problematic toward the end, but hopefully we won't have that tomorrow when he's gaming with us. I'm really looking forward to Cal joining us. I
Yeah.
went through the numbers, and we're going to have 18, including your companion, which I almost forgot.
You don't need to count her. She's gonna die as soon as I can figure out how to kill her without the fucking paladin who's not supposed to know I even have her complaining about it. Like fuck, man. The problem is we have a player in the group that is like
The paladin,
metagaming.
the
Yeah.
paladin.
Well, he said something like when he shouldn't have because his character wouldn't even know the girl existed. But I didn't
I
want to. I
see.
didn't want to get into the argument at the
I'm
table.
pretty sure there's a possibility that she'd been seen around the ship.
No, when I first got her, we were still in the city.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. But
Yeah.
we're up to 18 characters, NPCs and NPCs combined, kind of like the good old days. But I'm gonna have to whittle
Not for
that
me.
down. I'm gonna have to whittle that down.
Yeah.
Just saying. But Cal's bringing in a druid, so one more, you know, quasi healer into the group, which will be helpful. But at the
It's
same
not going to help you whittle the group down.
well, helpful for the ones that you know get to stick around. Just saying, you know. But I don't have any problem, you know, whacking NPCs. That's what they're there for. But yeah, and hopefully everybody will be able to, you know, uh, maybe use the chat function a little more. Uh, what's up, Brian? How you doing, man? Good to see you. If you want to
Not
pop in and
Raven.
hey, Raven, yeah, she
Uh,
won't be joining us till later. We're gonna get through the
not sex trafficking, Brian. Human sacrifice.
big
Get it
difference.
right.
Big difference. And and it's only one, so it's not a war crime the first time. And you know, She's had
Well,
ample
for some people,
opportunity.
it's never a workaround.
She's had ample opportunity to escape and or just throw herself off the ship. Ample opportunity, and yet for some dumb reason she's hanging around with this guy. Uh,
I'm
which would be
ruggedly handsome.
which would be hysterical if he were to you know
My
realize.
character looks exactly like me. I'm just saying.
We know. It would be hysterical if your character would
Little,
actually
little
realize he
hair.
had feelings for her, after the fact. It's like, oh shit, oh man. But
What am
anyways,
I
how you
gonna do
doing,
on
Raven?
Tuesdays now?
You got the link, Brian. You know where the link is. Uh, in the usual spot in my Discord. We're going to talk about our mega corporations.
Did,
I'm in love with that little guy. I have seen Stranger Things. I once knew a guy. He was like, I'm going to say 5'6", and he was dating a giant redhead who was 6 foot, easy, plus heels. And as far as I know, they lived happily ever after. I don't know how that worked, but stranger things have happened. Can't think of a single one, but you know,
yeah.
quite a judge. Oh yeah, that's right. It's my middle name. Um,
Your
so,
middle name's Judge?
yeah, uh,
Mm.
or judgmental, according to Raven. Uh, oh, she's in love with the little guy. Yeah, it could be. First person to treat her like the well. Anyway,
Property.
that she is the furniture that she actually is. If anybody out there has been in my games, nothing's as it seems. I've always got stuff lurking in the background and plans within
Yeah.
plans. So how far did you come
Well,
along with your? Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, I say you said Korak disappeared around the time this girl showed up. Maybe she did get sacrificed.
Nope, nope. She's still there. Coat rack came back. Um,
No, you know what I mean. Like the body's possessed.
no, actually, I've left
I'm just
ample.
trying to give you ideas, bro.
I've got it all. I appreciate it. I've got it all kind of not mapped out, but I know what's what and where things are, and it'll all actually make perfect sense. When I was in this one game where there was so many freaking mysteries. It's like I just don't even care anymore. It's like I just
Mm.
you know.
Well, I was originally leaning because we were supposed to start the God Wars thing,
Mhm.
right? That my God, when defeated, was actually imprisoned in some object. That was the way he was defeated,
Okay,
and that's the coat
that's
rack.
that's not out of the realm of possibilities. One of the stop
No.
the meta. One of the first God Wars that I ran, one of the deities was turned into a a particular type of rose that, upon a certain point of its bloomage, it would literally catch on fire. But it ended up turning into a full species of that plant, so you could find that plant in various
Mhm.
locations throughout the planet, and that was part of the that living god in its punishment. I heard he
Mm.
was in the spittoon. No, God, what a freaking weird ass, disgusting habit. I know a lot of people uh, bag
Chewing
on
tobacco.
smokers, but that is gotta be the absolute worst. I had this problem once where I had the stomach thing. I know it's gonna be too much information, and I had to spit like a lot because I
Oh, I've
was
had
just
that.
producing, you know what I mean, just producing like massive amounts of saliva, and uh,
I,
it
I,
was just
I had I had a piece of chicken stuck in my throat,
mm.
and I thought it would just like pass after a day, but I ended up having to go in and get it pulled out. But the whole time, I was just a constant spew of saliva coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, this is the gross
Just like a
portion of the show,
waterfall.
folks. If you want
Yeah.
to fast forward it later, we'll be done right about now.
Never.
Yeah. So, but I don't get how people can just tolerate that. Which also reminds me of the game that my son was playing. What was it called? West of Loathing or East of Loathing. It was kind of a stickman cowboy game. It was pretty humorous, and every saloon had a spittoon, uh, and every single one of them, if you searched them, would offer up some sort of treasure, if you will,
Gold tooth or something.
something. And just like thinking, no, not searching it, not searching it, not even, not even. I'm not even going to dump the thing out and hit it with the flamethrower. It was just gross, because the guy was really good at describing the contents therein. And yeah, I keep
Yeah.
hearing my boy's door make noise like it's going to open. I was going to bring him in here to have him tell us a little bit about it. But it was he was watching, I guess, Markiplier play it, and uh, I would then watch Jackie play it. It was pretty humorous, even though it was black and white stickman animation style, which is very very minimalistic. But it was fun.
Hmm. Yeah. Markiplier. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, very talented guy. We need more people like that.
If you say so.
You don't think we need more talented individuals out there like that entertain
Well,
without.
that Markiplier is. Oh.
I really enjoyed the idea of creating a video series where at the end of the series it would lead you to one or two different videos to watch, kind of like a choose your own adventure. That was
Yeah.
pretty clever, and with the right budget and people to back you up with it, that
He
could
didn't
be.
come up with that though.
No, no, but it was the
They
first time I'd heard of it, and from what I saw, you know,
that used to be like a built-in feature on YouTube. They tried for a while.
right. That's what I heard, that it would automatically like offer up the next videos, kind of thing.
Yeah, at the end, instead of the cards, it would have like two boxes, like these two windows here,
Mhm.
and then you'd pick like the next.
Well, I still see like at least the cards that kind of do that, especially doing research for the latest story, which I'm going to have to scrub my history afterwards. Just saying,
Yeah, you really should read that
I really should
ebook I
find
sent
a
you.
way. I really should find a way to make 30 hours in every day. Um,
No,
Today was just
read that ebook. It'll give you a sense of the kind of language you want to use.
right. That
Obviously, not a werewolf thing, but still.
yeah, because it's not easy. All of my experiences are from one point of view, and
Hmm.
trying to do four at once is a little tricky.
You just that's the thing. There's like proper scene structure and such, and you only stick to one point of view per scene.
Mhm.
Um, Otherwise, it becomes annoying and people don't want to read. There is a thing called a scene break. It's usually signified by three dots or three star signs,
Right.
and that you can shift um, perspective, location, or time during one of those. So in a scene, you stick to one person's point of view, one area, and the same like time stream. You don't do any time jumps or anything like that. Um, that's what defines a scene. Like a
What's up,
Jordan
Cal?
style.
You ready for tomorrow, man? Cal's in the game I was in earlier today.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. Your Mike Cal was good until the very like the last hour, and then it was kind of rough. But I think we were all having too much fun to worry about. Once again, I almost died horribly,
Mhm.
but managed to live to fight another day.
Hmm.
I am going to pull up my.
But you could you learn those things the more you do it, right? Like
Yeah. I mean,
and
I
just
I, I doubt I've literally. I doubt I've written 5,000 words to date.
you can check. There is a word counter that you can turn on for each document.
And I'm going to keep this up over here so that I can bring it in later. I hate having like 6,000 tabs open.
Oh yeah, it's a necessity sometimes though. You'd be surprised how fast you can get to a high word count.
I don't know yet, Cal. Normally we start at 5 our time, but it will depend on my chores and activities prior to that. If I can get in at 4 or 4:30, I'll let everybody know. But more than likely, it'll be 5 o'clock.
Oh, 8 tomorrow.
Yeah. And Brian, feel free. I didn't come up with it. There was already an Appendix N book club out that I had never heard of, but I didn't care because it didn't include those guys. It included these guys. So, but yeah, I look
Yeah.
forward to it because that would be uh, incredibly helpful for your shtick. Your whole theme of your show, which I got to admit is one of the most unique out there, at least amongst the people I know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Weird
do
World
it
War Two.
and make sure you barrage my channel. And dude, feel free to throw links to your shows and stuff like that in my general category elsewhere. To remind people to go over watch your stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
uh, Max Liao does it constantly. Unscripted Unchained does it over on my channel. Red Room, a few other places like that.
Yeah, just make sure you put it in the right category, not just any old one.
Yeah,
I,
I think it's usually in the general,
yeah.
which I may just rename later and create a new general. But I haven't talked to Max Liao in forever, and I think it's just auto. He automatically does it over there. And no, Cal, we won't need you for the first. You know, I don't even know. I'd have to look on the map because I know where I put you. Let's see if I can guess how long it'll be before you come in.
Are you guys still in the mansion? The house thing or whatever, the island?
Uh, in my game,
Yeah.
yeah, they're still in Caliban.
Okay.
Um, let's see, did they go to the? Okay, so they're still over here, I think. Oh, it's right
Okay.
here. Sorry, folks. Yep, they're still in the same place. Well, obviously. So actually, it won't be very long. You might want to just, Cal, just go ahead and turn on the show and listen until I say, hey, they find such and such, and then you'll know.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, you full of turkey. Yeah, that was awesome the way he timed everything today. And I saw the Streisand Mecha Turkey coming because we won't be playing next week. And I don't know what he was using to get the turkey noise, but that was pretty funny too. The gobble gobble gobble, sound effect. That was,
Hmm.
I was again, going back and forth between three different screens during the game, so I wasn't always on the Streamyard screen. But so, did you fill out your questionnaire or what have you for your mega corporation? For
Uh, yeah. Did you not see the thing I said? It's in that document that I sent you for all the world building stuff at the bottom.
no, I actually didn't. I thought it was
Uh,
in. Uh, hold on.
what was that thing called? I I asked you what we needed, and then I just said fuck it. I created a parent corporation and 4 subsidiaries that do, and there's
Is
just
it
rough.
is it in the Exiles of Ennio
Yeah,
document?
yeah, at the bottom, at the bottom.
Okay, that's why. I did. I was looking for a new one. I was like, oh, it's probably just in there. So I'll
Yeah,
bring that up when we get to that segment. I just wanted to, give the other participants, of which I think there are
none.
a couple. Well, no, I think George probably did the homework. Doc may have done it. I don't remember. I don't think Crafting did that. I didn't see Bruce doing a game today, so he's probably just under the weather from last week. So,
Yeah,
uh,
he was kind of off yesterday when he
yeah. So in about
popped
10 minutes, we'll just start at the top of the hour, and
in.
we're only going to go till what is it?
10,
8:30, ten
yeah,
thirty your time, I think.
yeah, 10:30.
Yeah, I have some things to get back to, and
So just another half hour.
no, we're going to go full 2 hours.
So 11:30.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no. It's just you said 10:30, so
Yeah, I thought it was 2 hours, but you're right.
three,
It's
three, three.
three.
Yeah, we'll
Just
be
like
10 in 10
a
minutes.
lot of the other people.
Yeah, it
Okay,
doesn't matter.
Cal, we'll be here for another 2 hours. You can always, blare the show in the shopping center that you go to, like I do. Many times I've had various shows, friends of mine that I would be listening to on my phone while I'm in the store. Jackie hates it, but
Well, if you wore headphones, he wouldn't.
I know. But then I couldn't hear what's around me, and I'm
You only
real.
need one ear for a talk show.
I understand. I'm just, as you guys know, I don't like anything around my ears, and uh,
I don't believe you because of all that hair.
that's the one exception, except the hair that's in my ears. It's a whole other discussion. And I don't like things on my ears or in my ears, even worse. Uh, it's I'm that kid from
These are all excuses to be an asshole, and that's all they are.
I don't need an excuse. Going with your wife, okay, well maybe not then. You are recently married. You don't want to, throw a wrench into that just yet. I'm guessing. So, but
I will yell many slurs out if you do.
no, don't do that. Kyle's a great guy.
Nah, I just messing with you, bro. Uh, so, what were we talking about before we got sidetracked into
Oh,
scheduling and
I wanted to mention that after the show, the boy and I are gonna probably watch some more Gravity Falls. That show's really funny. Uh,
yes, it is. It is extremely tarded,
yeah, yeah,
tarded with
yeah,
a hard R.
yeah. It reminds me of yes. Congrats, Cal.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
nuptials.
yeah.
It's got like a mixture of Uncle Grandpa, Crowder, not Crowder, Chowder, and Flapjack from my experience. And
Yeah.
apparently, some of the people worked on at least two or three of those cartoons. And I
Flopjack,
really love the
chowder. I don't know chowder or flopjack.
yeah. It was pretty weird,
Yeah,
but it had the guy. Remember the guy who played Al on Venture Brothers, The Alchemist?
yeah,
He was one of the voice actors. Which, if you know who I'm talking about, that voice you can't mistake it for anybody but that guy. I wish I knew his name. He also played another character um, somewhere else that was kind of famous. But 18 months, wow, dude,
the Venture
time flies.
Brothers.
I could have swore it was like less than a year. That's awesome. That's awesome. But oh, I was saying with Gravity Falls, I really like the backgrounds.
Oh
What's
yeah,
up,
ow.
George? On Gravity Falls, the backgrounds and the background animation and artwork is I really like it, and again it's very reminiscent of Flapjack and Chowder. I think it was Chowder or something like that.
Al. Actually, I forget the character Al from Venture Brothers.
The Alchemist, the guy with the sort of mo haircut. He's gay. Uh,
Oh, yeah. Okay. What's his name? Al.
I think so. They always called him Al. He's the Alchemist
Uh,
from the Triad.
Yes. Okay.
It's been too long since yeah, my kid loves it too. He just went out and bought the second hardback book. No, he didn't act like Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was more Doctor Orpheus, whatever. It was the
Orpheus.
black guy. He was the uh,
The monk.
yeah, the monk. He had that sort of, Franciscan outfit with the.
Dana Snyder.
Okay.
Yeah. What year was this other cartoon? He's just a voice actor.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He was in. Oh God. It could have been Flapjack. It could have been Chowder, and it could have been something like. I'm trying to think of the few shows that I watched. I wanted to say Aquatine, but I know that's not right.
Chowder. Okay, that's 2007 to 2010.
Yeah,
I guess Jackie was a little kid.
Jackie was born in 2008, and he never
2008.
saw it.
Okay. Why are you watching it? Weed?
Uh, because I used to watch Cartoon Network, and occasionally I'd catch other things besides Adult Swim, and I saw it. I think it and Flapjack were like on like back to back, and I watched one, and then I watched the other, and I was just like, "This is freaking wild!" Just uh,
Okay.
it was just funny.
He was on Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Okay,
Uh,
probably like
uh,
just like once or twice though.
yeah. No, he was Master Shake.
Was he?
Yeah. Or at least it's saying he was uh,
Oh, was that okay? Okay, okay. That
for
that
one
makes
of the
sense.
movies.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, that makes total sense. I was thinking he was like a side character, but
Oh.
nope, nope. That's that. Yeah, that's him. Yeah. Very, very unique. Sort of. What was his name? Gilbert Godfrey kind of voice.
Mhm.
Very, very distinct and grating, almost intentionally.
Well, he is a Schneider. Like, this is people's voice.
Yeah,
It's his people's voice. Oh,
yeah. I can see that. I can see that.
he
Yeah.
doesn't look that pathetic though.
Hmm.
Ah, whatever. The yeah, the the
But
character.
every once in a while, I do watch something that's not sci-fi, fantasy, or mysteries. Very rarely, but it does happen. And
Oh, the last two comments from Cal haven't shown up on screen for me. Or am I looking at it backwards? Oh no, I've scrolled down.
okay,
Me no
exactly,
smart.
exactly, George. Are you joining us, George?
Uh, Typical New Jersey man. Oh, oy vey.
But
I should pull up
yeah,
that
it was
document.
uh, uh, Jackie and I told you he went to the Barnes and Noble to pick up those books, and he was very happy. He scored a 1 out of 10 special edition of book two of the Gravity
One out of
Falls.
10.
Well, they had 10 of the regular version and one of the special edition.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but there's two.
Yeah, because I'm saying if there's only 10 of that version of that book, he got a great deal for $35 or whatever it
No, no,
was.
no, no. But they're really nice books. But you
Add a
know,
zero to the end of that is usually. Oh,
no, no
yeah.
worries. I know what that's like. I was kind of perplexed because it only ran 2 years, so 40 episodes, and it
Yeah.
ended what in like almost a decade ago or something,
Hmm.
and it's still a thing, to the point where they like this
Season
book.
two. Have you gotten to season two yet?
No, no.
It in season two.
Okay,
It's still good. It's like just different. Like it gets amped up to 11, and it's
okay.
like a two right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there have been some good ones. The video arcade was good. With the fight between Dipper and the goth kid, the emo kid, and they used the character from Street Fighter or Fight Fighter. Um,
Is that the one where everyone gets killed?
no, I don't think so.
I swear there's an episode of something. I think it was that show where they get trapped in like a store or a mall, and everyone gets killed except for the main characters. Like the show normals. Ah,
Maybe there was something like that where they were trapped in a convenience store.
yeah. Then stuff goes like nightmare wrong.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah, yeah. It's amusing, but it was just weird that something that you would have thought that book would have come out years ago. And I know I bought him the first book. I want to say it was last Christmas, and he I think he actually read it. That's why he wanted to go get the next one, or he heard about it. But it's like that would be like if a new like Babylon 5 book came out now or something. For us, it's like.
I think they still do come out.
But I mean, hardback, full color, lots
Oh
of
yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
You know what I mean? A big coffee table Babylon 5 book is like, who the shit cares? That was
It'd be more
life
like a
ago.
Sequest book coming out.
Right?
Fucking Sequest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've been on a kick for that lately. I'm gonna watch season three in the
I
next couple of
uh,
days.
I don't blame you.
No,
Uh,
just season three. That was the best part of the show.
it was a very novel idea, other than Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, but that
Yeah.
was literally like 50 years prior or something. 30, 40 years
Uh,
prior.
it
But
was
just
the
that
'70s.
was Sequest the 70s.
No, no, Voyage.
I mean, yeah, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I thought it was like the 60s, 50s or 60s.
Oh, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
I could have swore it was like, the dawn of the.
64.
Okay, yeah.
I think there was a movie in '61 though.
And then they turned it into a TV show.
I think so. I'm gonna look in closer.
That makes sense.
Four seasons of that, so it ended in the '70s.
Yeah, but that's like what, 1,000 episodes for back then?
Uh, and then yeah, a movie from '61, and then I guess they recouped the sets. I don't think it had any of the same actors though.
No, I don't think so either. Most of them would be, old and gray by that time.
4 years, '61 to '64.
No, I mean from 64 to the Sequest.
Oh, no, no, I meant the two Voyage projects.
Gotcha.
Uh, if it'll open,
And Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Brian?
32.
That makes perfect sense. As a matter of fact, the fact that they only had two is kind of, you know, surprising considering the era. The 60s was full, the 60s and 70s were full of World War II TV shows and movies. I think, was it Rat Patrol like 1970s?
I have no idea.
And Hogan's Heroes was, I'm pretty sure, the 60s.
That's all. I thought they started doing the how many episodes there were total on this thing. So 62 or 32, 26. So that is 58.
I never saw Combat, Brian. I only recently heard about it, and my old man was big into WWE.
82.
Him and my mom
Cool.
both. So like, they were constantly, either reading about that or talking about it or uh,
110 episodes
total.
total.
Okay, so two WW2 out of 100 and something. Yeah, I guess they had plenty of other ideas.
Yeah, but it's all like,
Creature of the week.
yeah, Creature of the Week. Which I liked season 3 of Sequest went more political with the Macronesian Confederation or
Yeah,
whatever.
I seem to remember a little bit of that, but for whatever reason, I doubt I watched more than 15
There
episodes of
were
it.
only 13 episodes in season 3. It
You
was a
know,
half season, then it got canceled.
I hate
And
to do that.
I firmly believe that Michael Ironside was a better captain than Schneider.
Roy Scheider, you mean?
Roy Schneider, whatever the fuck his name was.
Uh,
Because fucking Michael Ironside, you motherfucker.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, to be honest, when I saw Jaws, that was like the only thing that I knew he was in until I saw All That Jazz, uh, sometime later in the '80s, and I'm like, who is this guy? I mean, he must have done like something prior to
He
Jaws.
he was like just a constant like second tier guy or whatever.
Right.
Jaws.
I mean, I couldn't name another movie or even a single TV show uh, prior to Jaws. It's like, where did he come from?
I think that was early in his career though. I'll find out.
Pretty early, but what was his name? The other famous actor from
Uh
Jaws. Name's
fuck.
escaping me.
Yeah. Dreyfus.
Yeah, thank you,
Richard
thank you.
Dreyfus.
He was, I think he was in Goodbye Girl before that, or was that right after? I don't remember. But he just seemed like a more personable guy. Maybe it was just acting, but I could just see like picture Richard Dreyfuss having a much broader career prior to Jaws. It's like
Mm.
why they picked him versus somebody else.
Uh, Love of Life. Uh, it's like a soap opera. He was in that.
Okay.
In it doesn't say how many episodes because
Uh-huh.
they lost track. It was from the 51 to 80.
Huh.
Uh, fuck.
I was thinking about that the other day. How
Secret
much
Storm.
is going to be of Hollywood, if you will, of the old movies and TV shows are eventually going to be completely gone.
Well, there's better storage methods now than there
Right.
were back then.
Uh-huh.
Um,
But you would think that as soon as each new generation of storage methods would incite a massive
the
archive
thing,
of things of the past.
um, originally, that's what caused things to get lost. Is that there was no distribution of things
Hmm.
in early television and movie, so it would most things that have been lost due to literal warehouse fires.
Hmm.
Just like a warehouse burns down and half of Doctor Who seasons
Right.
1 through
Brian saying
5
in
are
1937, Paramount storage warehouse blew up.
yeah.
And now with uh, much much better storage methods. We could literally have
Well, the main thing is that like people have private copies. Okay, now okay, your private copy is on a server somewhere,
Hmm.
but it's even like the reason why half of the Doctor Who episodes we have from the early series is because people like taped it off of television when they played in the 80s or 70s or whatever.
Awesome, Brian. Yeah, I mean, I can even picture like almost like an amusement park, but a massive library that you could go to and literally look up and see, anything from the past.
Well, things are going into the public domain. That means like you just have them. Now that our good friend George is here, I'm going to step out for a minute. I gotta take a whiz.
Hey,
No
I
worries.
will give you
is my audio working
detailed.
right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
will
you're
give you
good. You're good.
detailed information
Good.
when I get back.
You're good. It looks like you're
Awesome.
nice and comfy in the in
Yeah.
the in the cockpit of the Blackbird. There, how's it going?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. We just my it was my daughter's birthday yesterday, so we took her out
Gotcha.
to dinner and we spent the day just doing stuff. So just got back home really. We went for a hike in kind of Morrison, Littleton, Colorado, just in the foothills. It's really beautiful there. It looks like something out of the Flintstones over there. There's like these
Yeah,
red. If you ever seen Red Rocks Theater in it's like an amphitheater just outside of Denver. It's if you remember, do you remember?
maybe if I saw a picture of it, I'd be able to tell you if
Yeah,
I've been there because I, I
if
I
you
did travel through that area
yeah
once upon a time.
the if anybody who remembers like on MTV when they YouTube sorry U2 had the video for Someday Bloody Sunday. There,
Mm.
I think half of the clips are from Red Rocks, where they're like in this
Oh,
kind
okay.
of amphitheater, and it's like natural these red slabs of rock. It's really really incredible place. If you ever come by, just it's one of the things to visit here.
I'm
And
like an hour from the famous scene with the Gorn
oh
from
yeah,
Star
yeah,
Trek.
yeah. Is that
And
I heard that?
I have yet to go check it out.
Yeah, it's I remember I remember watching something about like it's like this certain distance from Hollywood where like from most studios where like I guess they don't get to it's like sort of a regular commute to that spot like to that little area.
Mhm.
Like if they go any further, like a couple miles further, they're like it's like they're paying for like travel fees and stuff like that. So that's one of there's a lot of stuff being filmed out there.
Unfortunately, I've heard that it's been vandalized extensively
Oh
by
no.
jackasses with spray cans,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
that's unfortunate because I wanted
Yeah.
to take Jackie out to see it, but I got to get him to watch the episode of the Gorn and maybe Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey or Bogus Adventure, uh,
Yeah.
just so he's understand why we're going. Um,
I remember taking a tour at I forget. I think it's Lake Powell. It's the lake that's it's the lake that's made at the sort of the upper end of the Grand Canyon. It's in what is it? I guess it's in Utah mostly, and a little
okay.
bit in Arizona, and so it's the far end of the Grand Canyon is the Hoover Dam, and the other end of the Grand Canyon's the Glen. I forget the name. I think it's Glen Canyon Dam or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And so it makes this big lake, really massive lake behind it, Lake Powell, I think it's called. And so I took a boat ride, like a boat tour, and I'm sitting there just taking pictures because it's incredible looking out there. And I'm ignoring what they're saying until I hear, "And Planet of the Apes was filmed here." Like what? I gotta
Awesome.
listen to this.
Awesome. I love that freaking movie. I was almost tempted to watch it yesterday, um, but I got sidetracked doing something else. The boy wanted to watch Gravity Falls, so we watched
Mm,
that instead. And I needed some inspiration for the short story I'm writing with Justin and Raven
mm,
right now, and I wanted to watch the scene where they round up the humans,
mm.
and I just found my own way to write that scene, but I want to get the boy to watch all five of those movies back to
Yeah.
back. Body Doubles filmed up there too. Okay, all right, that's a
Mm.
weird piece of trivia to have
Body.
stuck in your head. I think I saw the movie, but I could be confusing it with the Razor's Edge. I think it was, or something else. Uh,
Okay, so that would be like Powell and or even like I guess like Mead does. There's some really cool places out there. Like I guess the same. It was probably the same day. Later in that day, I went to like a tour of what they're called slot canyons,
Right.
and there was this one that was in that one. They're all over Utah. The one I went to was specifically in Arizona, kind of in the border area there, and it's just these amazing sandstone canyons that are like, basically about a 1 or 2 person wide
Yeah.
canyons.
Hmm.
The scary thing is that
Right.
if we can get washed out of
Floods.
those, yeah,
Yeah.
they're amazing. It's
Okay.
incredible
Okay.
stuff.
Really, Brian, I'll have to go check it out. You know, somewhere down the road. I can't make any promises. I've got so much backlog. I could literally spend a year trying to catch up to the movies and TV shows that you guys reference all the time. Yeah, slot canyons are a flash flood or a rainstorm.
Hmm.
You can be in some deep, deep doo doo. I used to watch the Weather Channel a lot. I don't know why. Um, but there were many, many different instances where I would see people getting trapped or worse, being in those locations and out of nowhere, rainstorm hits and it all, builds up quick in those places and uh, you can get real, real messed up, getting washed away or, you know, battered by the rocks, from the water, etc. I I would be climbing. Every time I see or saw the instances, there'd be someone film, and I'm like, yeah, I'm climbing up. I'm not running. You're not gonna outrun the water. You know, just climb. It's only gonna get so high unless it's literally a flash flood, and even then, you know,
Yeah,
gravity is gonna pull it elsewhere, not up. It's gonna try
yeah,
and fill all those runways, if you will, as opposed to filling up. And if it does fill up, you know, you're kind
yeah.
of
It's
screwed.
one. If you ever read the Brandon Sanderson books, the Way of the Kings, they're sort of his fantasy world. I think it's
Uh-huh.
called Roshar. Well, I think it's called the Cosmere in general, but I think it's like a sort of a literary device that connects all his worlds together. But in this one, it's
Okay.
in a place called Roshar, and it's this kind of a hell, not a hellscape, but it's a very hostile environment. And a lot of it, and he's from Utah, so it makes sense that he's kind of pulling
Right.
from Utah stuff. And there were these like armies fighting each other, and it's like a lot of it involves slot canyons. Like they're in these like plateaus divided by these slot canyons, and you have these like medieval type armies, shooting, using swords and spears and arrows, and it would carry these bridges to bridge over these slot canyons to get to the next plateau to fight their enemies. It's a pretty cool book. It's kind of had an interesting world. A lot of really, if you ever want to like think about world building and stuff like that, he's pretty good on that. Like he builds magic systems, builds it's and kind of makes them a little bit unique, and he kind of pulls from things that you familiar enough that like if you know a little bit about history, a little bit about geography, you'll see where his sources are from.
Yeah. And thanks for the vote of confidence there, Brian. Yeah, I would. I just can't picture him being there because he's such a homebody these days. Uh, and let's just go into Mexico, in which case he's all for it. But anywhere else, you don't want to go. He's like, no, I got stuff to do here. I'm like, what the shit? Go out and get some fresh air. But yeah. So how far did you get with your mega corporation?
Oh yeah, I wrote something up. I made a company that was kind of focusing on environmental systems and things like that. So
Okay,
they go via the genetic tech, like sort of making living creatures, bacteria, plants to scrub carbon from your from your environment and stuff like that, so you can have breathable oxygen and
cool.
detoxify areas. And my CEO is based on Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, or loosely based on Jack Dorsey.
Okay,
So if you ever see Jack Dorsey now, he's just like he's done with Twitter. I think he's just moved on to he's doing some other thing. But he's
He's a
kind of
naive
where
hippie.
Yeah, basically, he's become a hippie now. Like before, he was kind of this libertarian
No, he
sort
was
of.
always a hippie.
Oh, okay. And so, but and his company basically got taken over by the local powers and the CIA and the FBI, and became the mouthpiece for the government without because he just didn't have the balls to yank that from them.
Wow.
And so in this case, my CEO, he'll have the founder of this one company. He had made a company in the past, and this one would be. I'm just kind of
I
pulling a
went for
little bit.
leftovers.
Nice.
Oh,
Is he made a company to keep for people to communicate using animals, particularly birds, Twitter, beep beep, kind of thing. And so it would be like a kind of a way to kind of bypass internet hacking and stuff. But of course, then I'll kind of inspired a little bit from Hunger Games, where the government comes in, they get their people into the company, they push him out, and they're using these birds to spy on people, like the mockingjay, well, the jabberjays in Hunger Games, which would
Gotcha.
be, and
Okay,
then
I only
he
saw the first Hunger Game movie, and I hated it, and so
I read the books because I'm not lazy.
yeah,
yeah, I I've always had this thing with with things getting too popular. I
hmm
don't want any part of it.
You're a
yeah.
try hard. I get it.
Yeah,
My
that's why my favorite band is Bloister Cult, because they went out of their way to not be famous, literally taking steps
yeah.
and performing as another band, just so that real fans would go. But because they for a while they were huge. I mean, really, really
Hmm.
big. You know, the Godzilla and the lasers and all that crap. And then they're like, yeah, we want to go back to our roots, and the only way they could do that was to come up with a fake name and play little tiny clubs and things like that.
A lot of bands do that.
Well, maybe now, but back then it was kind of I
Even in the 80s.
they were doing this prior to the 80s. The 80s is like, I'm not going to say that was the height of their career, because it was, I think, actually more for a little bit prior to that. But in the 80s, they did do really well. But I'm pretty sure in the 70s they were doing that, or maybe I have to look back into it. But I really had a lot of respect for that idea of just showing up at little clubs on purpose
Hmm.
to let you know people see them up close and personal, instead of huge arenas where you know you're just a an ant in the crowd, so to speak.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta I gotta step out for a minute. I just have to make sure that my leftovers are in the fridge.
okay, all right, no worries.
Yeah, or on the plate that you're going to put them on now that you see me eating mine.
Yeah, you're making me hungry too. I ate at about 4 o'clock, and I skipped lunch, and dinner was kind of small, but I was full, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get hungry later, and sure enough, it's later.
Yeah, well, for me, it's 5 hours later.
Yeah,
6 hours, actually.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to watch what I eat. Well, I always
And
watch what I eat, but
this is my second meal of the day. Um,
that's a good song, Brian. But it's not their best song. Their best song is either Astronomy
you're
or
fucking wrong. Veterans of a Psychic War is their best song. Every other song is three spaces below that one.
no, no,
It
no,
goes a Veterans of a Psychic War, Veterans of a Psychic War, Veterans of a Psychic War, then whatever the fuck you like.
no, 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 no.
Not Joan Crawford Must Die. That song must die.
Brian, check out Golden Age of Leather. If you want to get blown away, that one's
The song isn't that good.
I
I
like it.
listened to it after you recommended it. It sucked.
You didn't like it? I like anytime that band brings everybody in to sing, in different ways, instead of it just being one guy's turn. you know, to really show the talent because everybody in that band could do it all. I mean, there's one album I have of theirs where like there's three different guys listed as the drummer amongst all the other things they did. They like, they any one of them could play any instrument. It seemed, uh, whereas a lot of bands, they're known. I'm the lead guitarist. That's it. He's just the lead guitarist. Um,
Yeah, because he knows his place. Pluck your stupid little tin strings and shut up. You're not the singer. And don't let me see you fucking tapping the side of that guitar when you're not playing it. You're not the drummer either, you goddamn bastard. You can move your foot up and
that's
down to keep
harsh.
rhythm.
That's harsh. You
And if
do.
you don't
Good for
got
you.
no foot, too bad.
Yeah, I've got their whole catalog, but I'm looking to upgrade to one of the box sets that has everything, so I know it's all nice and crisp and clean, and then I can start handing out my old uh, CDs and get rid of them. I actually picked up an autographed copy of uh, their drummer. He put out an album a while ago, and I bought it, and I didn't realize until I got it that it was actually autographed. I'm like, holy smokes, that's cool. Mind you, the two brothers, the drummer and the bassist, they have their own band now because they were,
Do you see that? That's bacon covered in cheese
that sounds delicious.
with some
had chick-
noodles trying to fall off of it.
I had chicken cordon bleu and some rice and pineapple, and I was expecting pasta. It's weird, uh, totally off tangent. We buy a lot of this like rice mixes, like Spanish rice, chicken rice, whatever. Um, and they all are now like 50% rice, 50% pasta in the same bag. What the hell? Why?
I don't know. You got the wrong one.
No, no. I looked and like Knorr, Knorr, and the other brand, uh, all the rice mix is half pasta.
I don't know.
I was thinking, it's like, well, is it there? Is it a pasta dish that they're trying to fluff up with rice? But no, it's actually sold as a rice mix. But then it says in like little words and pasta. And I'm like, why? What's the point? I wanted rice. Thanks for the pasta, but I was okay with just rice. You could have just skimped on the pasta and just sold me rice, and I would have been happy.
You can make them yourself. It'd be cheaper for you to buy the dehydrated carrot chunks and
Yeah, yeah.
peas or
I like it
whatever.
because it's easy for Jackie's mom to just follow the instructions and just add water, margarine, stir. You're done. You know
Yeah, but
for
you can.
speed and ease, and I've got like easily 10 packages of each put away for emergencies, and that's blasphemy,
Emergencies. You
Brian.
mean dinner for the next 2 months?
Brian, you got to keep the jewel cases. Just saying. Unless you've got like one of those big binders or something, I get that.
Oh, I
But
fucking hate those things.
yeah,
I hate jewel cases with a passion. Like they were the worst designed thing ever.
mm,
I wish
Yeah.
they just like made like the DVD cases but smaller.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because they could have done that back then.
Like the way the Blu-rays come in. There's a thinner, smaller case for Blu-rays.
yeah. I know what you mean.
Or even the DVD ones, but the square instead of a rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up,
Because
Crafty?
that material was available. And obviously it doesn't break as easy as the fucking jewel cases do.
Yeah, yeah. I that infuriates me when I buy a brand new case or a brand new CD in the mail. I get it, and I can already see the
Mhm.
crack in the case. I'm like, I just want to send it right the fuck back.
Or the tab is just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
one of the two tabs is just like snapped off because the
Yeah, I'm up there. I probably actually I know I have more CDs than I
this
do
tab would break
DVDs,
off, and then it just
but for me, it's just one more level of protection. Once I finally figured out how to open them properly, uh, which is weird. I mean, back in the day, it was It's like, how the hell do you open this thing? And everybody, pried them open and snap. But I definitely have more CDs than DVDs by orders of magnitude.
I have everything compressed digitally now, so it's
Yeah,
all in FLAC lossless format or whatever the fuck that crap's called. The really good audio format for storing things on your computer,
gotcha.
which is like the same as on the CD, but I don't have a physical thing that can get scratched up and
I get it. I totally get it.
a jewel case that can be broken. And I can get rid of Joan Crawford's "Lives" or whatever that song's called.
It's
I
just
just
called
like
Joan Crawford. It's just
I
called,
can just Control Alt Delete that from existence. Just
yeah.
pretend it never happened. George is like, "What the fuck am I here for?"
I'm sorry. Uh,
No, he,
no.
he he was he was telling us about his megacorp. Were you done? Do you have more to tell us?
Oh yes. Well, the so I guess he has like a kind of goes out and tries to find himself or whatever, drop acid with spider monkeys kind of thing,
Just
and
don't give it to them.
yeah,
I don't know. He probably would.
and comes back and he makes he creates a underwater city based on I forget the name. I found like this name like Atlantis, but from like Indian mythology,
Uh,
Indian Ocean.
Duarta.
It had two names like Kagar or something like that,
Oh,
and it
okay.
was like a Tamil thing,
Dwarka.
and it could be that.
That's the one that they actually found. If they just traveled further along the beach, and it was just right there, but
Sunk
underwater.
into the water.
Ah, okay. I know there was that thing that connects like Sri Lanka to the Indian coast, and there was some mythology about actually like that was land once, and there was like a goddess that like destroyed it.
Yep,
So yeah,
a
so he
hurricane.
creates like an underwater city, kind of works the kinks and the complications over time, and figures it out, and then eventually creates the company from that. But part of his sort of he doesn't like you don't go and apply for them, they like go and find you to work for them, if
Gotcha.
a kind of setup, and they're all these kind of people who are into like taking DMT, doing like isolation tank stuff, and
Joe
documenting it like they
Rogan's.
yeah, Joe Rogan types, yeah.
Mhm.
And they're nice, and if you
That
ever
place
see
imploded
what
after a year.
Altered
yeah,
states. Were you thinking
yeah,
that?
exactly. I don't know, like some of the younger people don't remember it, but like when I'm hearing Joe Rogan talking about this stuff, I'm like, is this like that movie Altered States?
That
Where
movie was
he-
that movie was wild, dude.
yeah,
Uh, Especially that one scene. I forget the girl's name. You know
I know the movie you're talking about, but I can't picture it.
that one scene where she's dancing,
Altered States.
and then you if you look carefully, you can actually see like her demonic tail swipping around the floor and shit. I
yeah,
was like, oh my god, I didn't see that the first time around.
yeah. That is, and I think it kind of whole at the end, he's like in this like existential dread, like just like there's nothing, and he's in that pit of despair at the end, and I guess she takes him out of it. And I think there's something like that going on with these people. There is like, at least not on this, they don't tell everybody this. One of the reasons they're doing this environment thing is that they realize the universe is hostile to life. It is vacuum, it is heat, it is radiation, it is all these things. And that's what they're trying to do, though they don't, almost like a maybe like an apocalyptic cult, but not quite.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. I like it.
Yeah, but that stuff's not on the brochures,
Right, of course not.
Well, not the ones you get the first time you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You got to get to like the 33rd level initiate or
yeah,
something.
Yeah, they got like a secret version of Scientology or whatever.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
So,
Yeah,
and
there would be a lot of that, don't you think?
Now, the blessed be to his name, L. Ron Hubbard did start off with his own ship and his naval society
yeah,
for
there's another inspiration
uh,
for it, and
and all the ranks in Scientology are naval ranks.
Hmm.
mm, that'd be a good way to go. There's
Yeah.
that would be awesome. And
Any of you guys
one
ever read Dianetics?
No.
and those
Okay.
those commercials. Read the books. Read the books.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I, I read Battlefield Earth. That was good enough.
And that's
Xenu
only the first book
can
in
go
the
get bent.
in the decology. Just trust me, it gets weirder, very weird, and it's weird. Well, how many things sort of came to pass, or seem to have come to.
I did not see humanity becoming a bunch of space merchants. So
No, 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 no. But some of the other stuff that's later in the later books.
so we just found out that our good friend Shadow is not in fact a Christian. He's in fact a Scientologist.
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. There's some wild shit. I was thinking about that though. In hundreds of years from now, how many just kooky religions would have sprung up, but how many of them would literally just be um, corporate constructs
Yeah.
to lull the masses of their constituents into uh, you know obedient little worker drones. What's up, off grid? Ready for tomorrow? So let's hear about your corporation, Justin.
Uh, the I gotta open it up and look at it
Yeah,
again.
you gotta open up a document. I know it's hard. I'm trying to
Yeah.
balance the
The
plate and the fork and the mouse.
the Zenith Syndicate. Uh, it's like
They make
a
TVs.
no.
Not anymore. You are the
Um,
TV.
I use the power of advanced technologies to come up with names for things. Okay, because I suck at that shit. Um, so these things are open for revision. They have several subsidiaries that they do like a nice front and oh, I just clicked off the tab. Uh, their first subsidiary is Omega something or another. I'd scroll down to it. Omega Dominion, and they're like a military contractor. And then they've got like another one that is for like implant technologies, then like a virtual reality one, and then I did the whole sex robot one because that was in my character's lore, so I needed that to be out there. And did we lose Shadow? All these little subsidiaries are like look like normal products facing the environment, but they're in fact gathering information to spy on people and blackmailing them, and then sending in their military contractors to enforce things they want done and stuff like that. Uh, like they supply arms to rebels to overthrow a government. Then they come in as the government, the mercenaries for that government kind of thing. Yeah, that's about as far as I got.
Oh, okay. And I've been here the whole time. I was just,
Yeah.
me, you got to come downstairs, move a little. You didn't say anything about the CEO though.
Uh, yeah. Fuck. I just off the tab. I gotta scroll back up to it. I wrote this shit out
Don't
multiple
feel bad.
times.
I didn't get as in depth as George did because I wanted to kind of leave him a little mysterious.
Yeah.
But I'll get to that in a minute when you're done.
Alan Phelan, he's just a guy, and then I've got a bunch of like board of director names that you could fill out, whatever. Um, I didn't really go into like who they were or what they were. I just like gave a list of names. There's some details in there, but nothing very riveting. No acid trip. Jeff Bezos, not Jeff Bezos. What was his name again?
Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey level of hippiness. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah. I'm not really in the frame of mind of reading shit out right now. My eyes are blurring
don't sweat
over.
it. Uh, my company was Archaeotech. It's a
Yes.
mega corporation focused on retrieving archaeological discoveries from ancient alien civilizations and exploiting them for human medical superiority in the Sol star system. The founder is Jameson Hollister II, the oldest son of James Hollister, famed Neptunian archaeologist and explorer who has since used his family's vast wealth to ensure his family's legacy through the monopolization of life saving medical technology, medical breakthroughs, including cloning, bio nanotechnology, and DNA splicing.
To Brian's statement, yeah, we got to have corporate wars. That means you need to be making the same products I am so we can fight over this shit.
Uh, Archaeotech currently holds over 1 million biopatents as well as technological patents throughout the solar system and has begun stretching into the Alpha Centauri system and is rumored to have assembled a sizable quasi military fleet in the Sirius sector just so I can screw with some of the other people. Um,
Yeah.
One of the biggest projects nearing fruition is the creation of non human
Mesu.
replicants and super.
Mesu.
What?
uh, Brian.
Oh, I can't see his because I'm on this other page. I'll
Yeah.
come back to that in a minute, folks. One of the biggest projects nearing fruition is the creation of non-human replicants and super soldiers used throughout the 9 planets of the Soul Sector. These soldiers look nothing like their human counterparts from other mega corporations and more advanced than most, as they do not have many human weaknesses and, in fact, look more insectoid than mammalian. Archaeotech's biggest success has been human longevity and has been able to produce a treatment plan that so far has been able to extend human life well past the normal 90-year lifespans of the average citizenry, often allowing its recipients to live twice the normal lifespan. This treatment is, of course, only available to the richest of the rich, and even then, only to those who the company deems worthy.
Yeah.
Panagathics.
Yep.
Ergotics.
Uh,
Uh,
the, the implied information there is that it's entirely possible that uh, uh, Hollister the second is actually Hollister the first, and has just lived 2 lifetimes through one of his projects, but that remains to be proven, and may very well just be a uh, a created rumor to enhance the mystique of their company and to scare other people so that you don't know who you're dealing with. Thanks, off grid. Mary Sue,
my
who's Mary Sue?
Oh yeah, Mary Sue. Yeah. He may sue though. I prefer that interpretation of the
Uh,
saying.
Hell yeah, it's
so
Robo Bimbo Wars 4.
For yeah. So
Dude,
so
that was one of my videos. What are you doing, man? I'm not done with Robo Bimbo Wars 3, and you're already.
you think you would ever film anything such heterosexual as Robo Bimbos?
Um, well, I really can't use my latest story as an argument now, can I?
um. So my sex bots spy on their owners. My VR
ooh,
programs send in mind control. My synthetic body parts and robotics thing send experimental components into poor communities.
it's just like pornography of our time.
Yes. And my mercenary defense company starts civil wars just for profit.
So it's pretty much just 2024 all over again.
Yeah,
Just
pretty
add,
much.
just move the numbers around a little.
Yeah, but apparently my robots sneak out of the house at night to find Brian's robots to sabotage them, and vice versa.
One thing in the write up on my company, I did add that currently they are trying to expand into the section of they're basically a biogenetic company, so they were thinking about expanding into modifications to humans, but that might be a point of conflict with.
Yeah. We'll just
No, no,
we'll just tie your ass up in litigation for the next century. We're gonna
no.
be around for the next
All
century.
the corporations do everything.
Yeah.
Just how much they do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
we have dark gods on our side. Oh, their mascot's a little octopus.
a
Cute,
little,
a cute
a little, a
cartoon
little, a
octopus.
little Cthulhu plushie.
Yeah.
It's free with every paid subscription, whether you like it or not. It will be brushed and washed thoroughly. No dry cleaning.
Or else. That's literally on the tag.
Nice work, gentlemen. Nice work. I was hoping to see a little bit more, but that works. I'm noticing a pattern in Justin's characters.
What?
All of them. Absolutely all of them. Nice work, guys.
Well,
Nice work.
sometimes my characters aren't that way.
Yeah, I'm
Just on
noticing
this show, I ramp up the
those recalls
the
back.
jokes.
Yeah. Uh, I'm noticing a distinct dystopian trend in the year 2424. Who'd have thunk?
Hey, I created a very pleasant Martian world of Amazonian hotties. None of you enjoyed that. They all want to kill you, though.
I did appreciate that. That's why I keep sending you over to my night cafe gallery. I think you'd get a kick out of it.
You've never sent me the link to it.
I will send that to you shortly. And make like one image, and I'll get a bunch of free more credits. Appreciate that. I'm actually
I think I
just
already have an account there, so it won't.
okay. No worries. I'm up to almost 1,000 free credits that I've been banking because every 5 days, if I make one picture every day for 5 days, I get 25 credits.
Mhm.
So I haven't missed in 50 days. I haven't missed doing something over there, and it's funny.
Yeah.
I accidentally got away with making an image that has the tag "not safe for work" on it, and I had no intention of really doing that. And it's identical almost in every detail to three other images in the series that I was doing. And I'm like, now how did that happen? You know, I think what happened was I got a free couple of pro plan like credits, and I used them, and it just so happened to fit. So they made the outfit a little skimpier, but I'm like, I've got 500 other images very similar. So what's the big fucking deal, guys?
That's the thing with the one I sent you
Mhm.
is I know it can do like better images or like more dynamic images
Mhm.
than Night Cafe.
Yeah.
But their free credits limit you to 4 generations of 4 image sets per cycle
Okay.
per day. Like they give you 10 credits, and it's dynamic to how intense your thing is. And I
Yeah,
think it's
I
about
have noticed a trend in every place I go that the male to female ratio of images is
not
vast.
that. I mean, like elaborate, like how elaborate your request
Yeah,
is.
I try not to worry so much about the dynamicism of the pose or whatnot because I know foreshortening and things like that can take away from all of the details that I'm trying to imply with the characters and monsters and things that I create. But so far, I'm
But
pretty happy.
if you want it for a cover, like cover art for something you're going to put out there, you want it to be dynamic enough to attract attention.
Right. Yeah. Which is going to be tough on the more recent story. I will probably have to get some help on doing that, but I don't know because like the image I sent you, I was trying to kind of imply, the Handmaiden's Tale kind of idea, where there really wouldn't be any dynamicism. It's more of the characters themselves,
Yeah.
but my original idea was more of the four characters like being surrounded by the bad guys and them all trying to fight them off. But yeah, good luck with that. Uh,
Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to do that.
no, no, and not get all four in this shot. And you're talking about
Well, you could always like pick one of them. Sorry, George, we went off onto my Friday things side tangent.
It's okay.
But you can always pick like one of them to be the main character, and the other three are just like sides that you occasionally dip into the perspective of.
yeah, or maybe having like two of them standing and two of them on the ground, kind of like,
Yeah,
oh no, don't hurt me, kind of thing. Uh,
yeah.
but I haven't decided yet. That's long, long way off. So now that we've got the corporations out of the way,
Well, the
I've
ones
already,
we created.
yeah. If crafting or George, not George, Doc, or was there somebody else that I'm forgetting?
Raven, I think,
Raven.
started this, but I don't think
Yeah,
she's.
yeah. I don't. Sorry about that, guys. I'm pretty sure she hasn't done anything with that yet. She's been busy in other ways.
Mhm.
But I have next week's topic ready. What we're going to talk about is uh, uh, space travel from the ground up. You know,
Mhm.
I want to kind of go. You remember in the opening sequence of Enterprise, the Star Trek?
Yeah,
How they show that. I really like that. That always stuck with me.
The,
Um, sort of showing different, like the montage of different scenes.
the Scott
Right.
Bakula one.
yeah.
Yes, yes. My second favorite of all the treks.
Been a long time.
Yep, yep, yep. Even the song
Okay,
didn't bug me.
I
I
like
like the
it.
song. I like the song.
I got faith to believe.
Yeah, it was kind of similar to the one for Firefly in that it wasn't bad.
But that was an original song in Firefly, and it wasn't in.
Yeah, I think it was. Who was it?
What's the song from like
Dionne
the
Warwick.
'60s?
I think it's Dionne Warwick or one of those.
Me
And I
too.
think
Me too.
what's his name covered it. Rod Stewart.
Yeah, I was gonna say him or Kenny G or something like that. Uh,
Kenny
you mean
G.
the Andorran
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Kenny G? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't help but think about South Park when I hear that name. But I love the idea of the way they did that and showed uh, the different scenes and the technology evolving for
Yeah,
to get to speed or warp speed,
Hmm.
whatever, warp technology, which we're not going to be using. Of course, we're going to
Yeah.
yeah.
try and keep it to
Fast, but not inner system fast.
I think
Interplanetary.
the Expanse does something similar in
it's
their
it's
in
a
their
it's a
beginning.
great way to the montage that they
Yeah.
produced is a great way to explain and get you up to speed, pardon the pun, not really, to where they are at that moment in the show, and explain everything without having to explain it all. But we're going to go and try and come up with the developments along the way, because right now all we have is chemical rockets. That's it. Yeah, we're not getting
Yeah.
anywhere fast with that. Even though the speed is, incredible to everything else
Hmm.
you can compare it to here on Earth, it's a snail's pace to
Yeah.
get anywhere but the moon.
Yeah. That Oumuamua asteroid that kind of came through the solar system about like 4 years ago,
Mhm.
or maybe it was more than four. Well,
Right.
they're thinking about going there, but it's like we can probably barely catch up with it now. At that this That's how fast it went through the solar system,
Mhm.
like just random space debris
Yeah, and if
coming
Raven were
through.
here, she would tell us all about how it moves on its own and it turns and does all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah.
Where are you, Raven?
Well, yeah, it's one of those mysteries about it, and even I mean, Avi Loeb is like a relatively respected physicist until he starts saying maybe this is a fragment of a light sail, and then everybody just jumps on him. But it does not really comport to a lot of things that we know about. It
Mhm.
does. It acts like a comet, but we don't see a tail on it, for example. So there's some kind of off gassing going on it. So they're not sure. It's like it's just not quite a normal thing. Though Its shape is they're saying it's probably something like a pancake
What the
from what
fuck
they
is Brian talking about?
Bigfoot is
Uh,
good.
Bigfoot is controlling a Muamua.
No, no, below that.
I love that. He was talking about the Andorians from Star Trek.
Oh, oh,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They were like
yeah.
they were so fun. My first game of Starfleet battles, my dad's friend who was a big sci-fi fan, and he wasn't, even though he got me into sci-fi and liked stuff, but he couldn't get into it beyond a certain point before it was just like, oh, this is freaking, you know, nonsense, you know.
Yeah.
But he taught me how to play Starfleet battles. And the first battle, I had like a really nice Federation starship, right? And he came at me with a couple of Andorian little tiny little things that I didn't know had the ability to just pump all their shit, their energy into a one-way trip. They had no intention of coming back. So I'm like struggling. I got my ass handed to me because these little Andorians they're just like they got one mission, that's to fuck me up, and they sure
yeah,
as shit did. And
The Andorians or the
yeah,
Tholians?
it was the Andorians.
Okay.
It was a
the
one-way
I think
mission. They knew they weren't coming back, so they could put all their resources or power or whatever into doing crazy stuff because they were going to blow out all their warp coils or whatever. Just getting to me and wrecking my day, and they did. Um, but
yeah, and
they were fun. The actor who played the leader was great in Enterprise compared to the way they were portrayed in the original series.
yeah. I think in the
Yeah.
original series there was like an assassin or something in that one.
Yes, yes, yeah, they
Always kind
were.
of had a negative view of them just because of that episode. The guy had
Mhm.
that little thing in his antenna.
Yeah, which I think
Yeah.
it turned out they weren't even actually real Andorians in the original
Ah,
series. Wasn't that the thing? Journey to Babel.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Jeffrey Combs. Okay,
Yeah, he
horror actor.
was like all of the aliens.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was really fun. He made that species and that just seemed like people you could hang out with. Just mind your p's and q's. Have a couple drinks with that sort of thing. What's up, monkey? Dun, 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 dun. Here comes the boy.
hey,
Hello,
hello. How are you doing?
hola.
I'm doing all right.
Hola. Oh, oh.
You need me to mute?
No, I'm just gonna go downstairs.
All right.
Because I thought no one was walking upstairs.
Oh, okay. I'll see you in a bit, sport. So when we uh, move into next week's episode, I want to think about uh, the technologies that are going to be required to get them to whatever we decide is the top out, speed or technology to get back and forth from places, whether it be in system or out of system. Obviously, I think we're all on board with the jump gates of some sort for the longer journeys, just to make it, uh,
The interstar system
yeah, from star to
journeys.
star. You got to use something.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing. Uh, Brian, but we can talk about that later.
One thing I think that sci-fi has not really explored enough. Oh, wait, hold on, somebody's in here.
Oh, get the wiffle bat. I do
Uh,
like the idea of suspended animation for the long trips. I really like that, not just because of Planet of the Apes, but it just makes a lot of sense if you could, if you can't beat it, join it kind of thing. You
but
know,
maybe they have to do that to go through the gates because it's like
I didn't think.
inert objects or something like that.
Well, you could justify it either the 40K route, as you don't want people accidentally looking out a porthole, and seeing the freaking shit, or
Well,
that it would just facilitate an easier transition, going through
yeah.
that sort of you know
Kind of
process.
like in I just watched a movie, Supernova, I think it was, or I have to look it up on.
Black hole.
No, not black hole, because they were developing that technology, but there was like um, oh,
I really liked that movie. I'm glad I
black
actually got to
hole.
watch it. Yeah, I know it
Yeah.
was hokey as hell, but there were things about it that just, I had read the book literally like half a dozen to 10 times and still could never figure out the ending. And then seeing the movie, it all came into place, and I'm like, you know what? This is
Oh, I'm thinking of the other one, Event Horizon.
oh
Not
that
black hole.
was yeah.
No, no, the not. I'm still not thinking of that movie. I'm thinking of the one that came out around the same time. It had remember the Mentalist.
Yeah, I remember the show, but I didn't watch much of it. I think I saw like
Okay.
one, like the pilot episode.
Yeah, the female cop was in this movie. Oh, it doesn't matter. They had to go into cryospace, cryosleep when they were going faster than light, or they would all die,
Right.
kind of thing. And then the one guy did, but his machine broke, and he was like half merged into the pod or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Uh,
like the idea for both because it makes perfect sense in a long ass journey. If you
yeah.
could find a way to keep the people from needing to eat and breathe and stuff, you can easily reduce your cost
Well,
to keep.
it could still be like 6 months real time in subspace or whatever, right?
Mhm,
Instead of like 400 years.
mhm,
And
mhm,
then in system travel is like, instead of it being 3 months from Earth to Mars one way, it's 3 weeks or something like that.
mhm. And just if you think about
And
just
that's
the
that shortest distance.
the amount of cargo you would have to carry for food and water and recycling and things like that. If you can slow everybody down, you don't have to carry as much supplies.
You're
And you
probably
can,
building ships so big to move legitimate cargo back and forth, it'd be negligible space.
maybe, but if you don't have to, pay them as much, also because they're asleep, and you can rotate the
Yeah.
crews and things like that. Brian, Event Horizon is in my top probably three horror movies. So I don't know where that ranks with top movies of all time, but that movie is just brutal. Just
It's pretty dark.
yeah, I was looking forward to watching it on Connell's show whenever that's going to be. Probably next October. Uh,
Or longer.
yeah, but I also want to, even though we won't be using them, we might. Come across or at least need reference points of the technology between now and then, because obviously we're shooting for what's currently commonly available through the mega corporations, etc., what they use to get around the star system and the stars. But I think it would behoove us to know what the other things were. What was the apogee of chemical fuel before they it was no longer viable, without
Yeah.
massive refineries throughout the star system. And eventually someone's going to make that breakthrough, and then the next breakthrough. And we've got, essentially 400 years. We can't, it would be ridiculous to think they use chemical fuel for the entirety. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a couple of steps.
Yeah.
And like
So we're definitely doing energy drives or whatever.
the impulse
Uh,
or
It,
whatever.
it,
I
one
I
thing.
think it's ion drives where they
no,
just
no, those generate. Those exist. Those are real. They generate less power, not more.
right,
One.
but it's a more efficient in the way of resources, or no?
Yeah.
No,
What was the what
no.
was
What?
the selling point on ion drives?
If you want to move a small probe over a long period of time, they can put out a very small
Hmm.
speck of energy
Mhm.
continuously.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you accelerate. One
Yeah.
thing. One option is out there is the whole. It's almost, it becomes like an infrastructure where you have masers or lasers pushing you from
Mhm.
from one place to another. So you maybe have to use something more primitive to get to some faraway place, set things up, have an energy source to make a laser that would push the next ship over and back or forward. Let's say like you might have some orbital satellites around or statites around the sun,
Mhm.
gathering insane amounts of energy from their proximity to the sun. They'll be projecting lasers that would push you to like at least maybe Saturn, perhaps even further. And beyond that, you might have to find some other energy sources, make nuclear reactors or something like that, or fusion reactors to fuel further, deeper things out into the Oort cloud, perhaps, or and things
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
And you'd have like, and that actually might work with like if you ever want to work on a Western type setting where you're doing a space Western where there's a slow way of getting around, which is like this Conestoga wagon. It's your little chemical rocket, perhaps maybe an ion drive. But then there's the railroad, the infrastructure that's put through that can get people back and forth, at least to
Mhm.
the inhabited areas,
Hmm.
much more quickly.
Now, one thing that often comes up in science fiction is the new elements or the new uh, technologies that are ridiculous or entirely made up. You know,
Hmm.
like not let's just use helium-3 as an example.
That's a real
Uh,
thing.
I know, but something like that, some new discoveries that
Uh,
once we're out there, we discover this new thing or this new technology that
so
we
it could be like CERN is doing with the
collider
the collider, doing the negative elements, right? Like the
Mhm.
antimatters
or
of all
dark
those
matter.
things.
Or,
Yeah. No, no,
it,
no. Like
it,
literally, they're like negative helium-3,
oh,
negative
okay, okay. I
iron,
don't know if we
things like
want
that.
to mess with that or not. It's
Well,
always there as sort of a stopgap or
mhm,
a cheat code to like warp or jump drives themselves. We have
mhm.
it's just theoretical. We can't really do it or prove it, so you can't really disprove it.
So they
Well,
they they have negative mass. Those
yeah, they've produced very small amounts of negative helium and stuff like that
Right. That's
interesting.
kind of what we're
to
working
try and
toward.
use as a fuel.
Uh,
But yeah, like okay, so if you have a jump drive, maybe it's like very short distances,
Yeah.
like relative, right? Like
Where I've
100,
heard
100,000 kilometers or something like that.
where I've heard negative mass
It's
most
still right.
being used is the term negative mass. Most of the time I hear it used is like one wormholes and how to open
Yeah.
them up, but the
Well, that's
other
in
was
science fiction, though,
yeah.
right?
Well, in that no in like regular physics where they're trying to figure out ways to go faster than light.
mhm,
That and negative they because they will also talk about negative mass for like the basically warp drives where you're
Mm.
warping the universe around you. You make things closer than they are. You kind of make this bubble that compresses space in front of
Well,
you.
there's a
And
real theory on warp drive,
yeah,
mhm.
that you can look up.
And we're gonna want to just maybe one breakthrough every century, to get them to wherever it is we stop
Mm.
the stopping point, and maybe have that fifth one that everybody's like trying to perfect but they can't yet.
Mm.
The next cutting edge technology in travel.
Well, if you are going to do the gates, and we're just like that one system that Proxima
Uh,
is the only one that's been open so far. Maybe there's three or four that are like on the way. Like
mhm,
this end is built, but the other one is like moving slow boat, and will arrive in the next 200 years or whatever.
mhm. I do like the gate system. I do want to use that uh, every time I think about it. It makes a lot more sense to have like to build the rifle instead of the bullet.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You build the thing that shoots the ship, and that way your ships could be as big as you want and not have to worry about a lot of
Well,
things.
they can be as big as the gate.
Well, in diameter. I mean, in lengthwise though, it could
Mhm.
literally be like a an old train, where it
Yeah.
could be super long if they can keep the gate open long enough. And if something happens, okay, one train car gets smushed, but the rest are parked in front of the gate waiting for it to open again.
Yeah. The
So that way, the bigger corporations and the government, et cetera, have the control over it and keep people, somewhat contained, as opposed to, everybody suddenly got their own Millennium Falcon, and next thing you know, in 1,000 years, there's 10,000 or a billion different planets, now settled by companies or families or holdings that just you know you have complete balkanization and no control, and nothing but wars, in the next 1,000 years, because now
Well,
everybody's got
that's drama, bro. You want that?
their. I
what
get it, but the people would, if we could think about it, they would think even farther ahead and try to find ways to prevent that from happening. You know,
Well, try is the operative word.
what I like about the gate.
one of the reasons we don't have like flying cars and everybody owns a jet, because if they did, it would be chaos.
Uh, for a little while. You were saying, George?
Oh, what I like about the gates is that this notion that you still have to get to the new gate location has to be built, and you have to get there the old fashioned way, and get
Mm.
all the things to build a gate there, or you have to develop a civilization there to to eventually make their own gate or something like that. It's quite I like that. It kind of makes it can make like an
Exactly my
interesting
point, Brian.
way for the worlds to
Well, I
develop. Like,
figured you'd build the gate and
yeah.
just like shoot it over, like
Yeah,
have
that's the
like.
other thing is, can the gates be moved? And that
I
actually
would
make
assume that just
After
for
they're activated.
well, you
Yeah.
mean
yeah,
once they're placed in a location, I would think that they would have some sort of system to move them a little bit, maybe
yeah,
not a lot, but
because
if something, if suddenly there's an invasion or a military action or even just a natural phenomenon of a once every 10,000 years, a meteor storm or something, rogue planet comes cruising by. It's like, hey, we can't move it, and it's right in the way, and all you have to
Well,
do is move it a
in
little, and it misses
in
that phenomenon.
in the Culture series by Ian M. Banks, they use gates in that, and like there's one or two of the books where like the civilization in that book is cut off because their gate was destroyed,
Mhm.
and it regresses or becomes independent or whatever until another gate shows up, and then oh fuck,
Or it develops in a completely
yeah,
unforeseen way,
yeah.
culturally or technologically.
Over the 10,000 years it takes for a new gate to just drift through space to their system.
Hmm.
uh, one
Uh,
one interesting thing about gates and, let's say, wormholes, for example, like I kind of think of gates as wormholes. Basically, they're either
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
they're
They're artificial
connecting to a
wormholes.
place, and if they could move now, with if there's time, if they can move at relativistic speeds or fractions of relativistic speeds. Let's say you take a gate, you bring it to Proxima Centauri, you have that
Yeah.
time dilation. So, like, for the thing traveling at relativistic speeds, less time passes than it does for the people on Earth.
Inside.
So by the time
Yeah.
it gets to Alpha Centauri or Proxima Centauri, let's say it's a 10-year trip. For us on
Mhm.
Earth, it actually feels like, for those on that trip, several years less. Then you
Mhm.
come
Yeah.
back to Earth, another several years left have passed. So then you would have a gate that would be basically a wormhole into a couple of years into the past, because the gates would have moved at relatively speeds, and the time of the gate that passes for the gate itself is less than the time that has passed for people on Earth. Let's say there's the original one gate on Earth; it stays still. You take its
I think you're overthinking
sister
it, bro.
gate. It's I've seen it on a physics show, so but it
I
is.
wanted to bring up this next comment from Brian. He was thinking, instead of sending any bio, we send our consciousness with robots to carry us to these long distances. I think that would be one of the technologies that they may have developed and maybe shit canned after they found better methods. But for a period of
Because
time,
that's Altered Carbon does that. It's a good show.
right? But after a period of time, they would be obsolete. But for a period of time while they're in service, they could be, very. There's a lot of interesting stories you could tell with, you know, them getting cut off, or you've got these robots with human consciousness stranded in them in a sector or a planetary system that they're unwilling to just shut down and give up, and they continue on, and you get the Necron or something.
Yeah,
And,
maybe like the one system is using those, and they're. I guess we're not going that far into the future, but the gate breaks or whatever, and then their Necrons when they
or
reconnect.
imagine a company sends, like, an entire ship full of these, robots with either transferred consciousness or like copied transferred consciousness, where it thinks it's
It's all just Steve, and it's like,
well, no, it's like, okay, like
oh, sorry, Bob. Good book series.
they've copied your personality, your consciousness, and it's all just information. Well, they unplug you from the machine, you go out and do your thing, and that robot's out there thinking he's Steve, and you've got a ship full of these guys that think they're real people, and then they get cut off. And
Yeah,
what would they do? They might create their own society of more or less artificial life forms that have been
yeah.
cut off from Earth for 100 years. What would they accomplish? I like the idea of, with the old Star Trek, the original series, a lot of the stories were about coming across, failed experiments from Earth, or expeditions. They get, cut off, and they got to make it on their own, and they decide they're going to model their society after the Roaring Twenties for whatever reason. You know what I
Get
mean? There were
payback.
all kinds of stories
I was
like
just thinking about that world too.
Piece of the Action, great episode. Where you have, you
I
know,
hated it.
I'm gonna put you in concrete galoshes.
but you'd have these little pockets out there where the Botany Bay, crash landed on this planet, and they didn't die. What happened in the 200 or 300 years when, like, the player characters, come across it because no one else has in, forever, and what kind of stories could be told when encountering these things, and the culture shock, and the you know bringing that particular planet up to speed. Oh, by the way, did you know, all these changes have happened, and maybe you want to go back and, reestablish, communications with Earth or what have you, or maybe not, and maybe Earth needs to
Megamind.
worry because now you got these clanners with their clan mechs getting ready to invade Earth.
I just
Fucking
realized
clanners.
that the original series
It's always
is
fucking
based on like
clanners.
one theme only. I just think you've summed up the original series as one theme, something worth a son, and it just fucks up some other civilization.
Yeah, yeah.
I am Nomad, V'ger, the Doomsday Machine.
All
I
of
think
those
that would
different
be
all of those
episode.
different stories, you could make new versions, or you base that premise, but you've got all these different directions to go, and
Yeah,
that's why I hate, or have such a bad taste when it comes to cybernetics, and cyberpunk, and all those futuristic stories where we give up our biggest organ, that being our skin. I'm like, there's
Meh.
nothing that's a fair trade for that. You know what I mean? To me, it's just like,
Well, I got about this much skin that as long as I
yeah.
can keep it, I'm okay.
well, there's that is a big part of it. But yeah,
It's cylindrical, George. It's
I
cylindrical.
don't get, how people, think that, I don't care how strong you are or how fast you can run. Um, there's some things that machines just will never be able to reproduce,
Yeah.
and it's
For
just
now. For now.
right.
Um, there are strives in synthetic flesh,
Mhm.
like organically grown synthetic flesh, that is
Right, right.
pretty impressive.
It could be worth, the trade off, but
I'm just saying, I have no problem feeding a chair that is nothing but boobs.
I think they have made an artificial cell a few years ago in the lab. Like basically, they had some kind of lipid membrane joined with some proteins and stuff.
No. I've seen the like lab grown skin patch
Hmm.
that had like the electricity going in to keep the
Yeah,
jolts, and it was on a
but
fluid base. And then,
yeah. But I think they all have like some kind of original living thing as a source for that. But I guess it doesn't matter anyway.
donor material or whatever.
Don't yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it doesn't bother me. I just want I want a chair upholstered in still living boobs.
chair dogs. They had that in
Yeah.
the later books of Dune, chair dogs, where they sit in a chair and it kind of
what's
wraps
up,
around you
Dean?
and grabs you.
Welcome to the show, man.
But that
Me,
sounds too weird.
my daughter and I want to have a boneless flying squirrels as capes, and then they could like just cuddle us as we walk around.
That's not perverted enough.
Fellow employees. Those excellent real doll scientists are amazing. Yeah.
Actually, I don't think they're real doll scientists. They're just normal scientists. But I would like to see the synergy of them. Just saying. Not for my personal
those
use.
are
I
other
just think it would be
technologies we're
amusing.
going to have to think about. I wanted to kind of just focus on the space at first because we got a long way to go before this is fully fleshed out. Pardon the pun again. Uh,
So I
Good
say
for you, Dean.
we go with much faster, much larger energy drives, and anything outside the solar system is uh, a gate.
Yep.
Just like you
Right.
go to the
I
gate,
was hoping
it
to
takes
with I was hoping to
one
come
d
up with
six months to get there.
I was hoping to come up with a couple of old technologies that they've surpassed, just so that we don't go from 2024 to, I mean, 2024 to 2424 with just one technological leap. I think we're going to in the real world see a couple of different things before we're like, okay, we're good,
Yeah,
or you know because like I was wondering about the movie Alien.
Yeah, I,
Um, they had the cryo sleep. They had the
yeah.
ships that were clearly traveling fast, but slow in
Those
comparison
were
to.
intersystem traveling. They wouldn't need cryosleep for in-system travel. Like going from Earth to Mars, they wouldn't need cryosleep
Right,
with
because
how
I
fast they
remember
can
that
move.
in some of the later movies there was some significant time that had gone by from the time Ripley was born to the time Ripley finally dies.
Yeah,
She Earth had aged hundreds of years in Ripley's lifetime or
yeah.
something to that effect.
It
And I
had been
want to
like
kind of
80
get
years or something.
I want to get
Her
some
daughter
sort of a
died.
grip on exactly that because as the GM, I'm going to need to know when you guys do bump into weird stuff. You know, what technological level was it at, and what era it was at, because those kinds of encounters are going to be some of the things that the great stories of science fiction were centered around. You know, people like the Enterprise crew bumping into people in old ships or old colonies that didn't advance along the same lines as the Federation, or maybe they even advanced faster for some reason because necessity being the mother of invention. A colony that gets isolated or cut off from the rest of society is going to have to think really quick on how to overcome a lot of situations without constant supply drops from Mother Earth and the rest of the empire, let's call it. They're going to have to figure out ways to survive if something bad happens, a warp storm or whatever, or the company just says, we're cutting costs, so that little colony over there on whatever, just erase them from the memory. Nobody knows, and eventually they'll just die off. And if we you know don't talk about it, no one else will, and they'll just be forgotten. I wasn't Gina
I'm
Torres
asking
also
AI
in
to
that?
create a timeline right now.
Pardon?
I'm asking AI to create a tech timeline for space travel right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Uh, did you ever watch Cleopatra 24/24? None of you guys?
Yeah,
The only,
I
No.
seen it, but I wasn't a
wasn't
fan.
Gina Torres from Firefly in it?
Yes, she was the
Okay,
black
that's
one.
like the only thing I know about that show, other than I remember seeing the movie poster,
I
the
think
ads at the bus stop, and I'm like, okay, that looks like hot garbage, Xena in space, if you will, and I never paid any attention to it.
That,
Of
that
course,
sounds the title sounds like an exploitation film to me.
well, that's the point.
yeah, that's what I meant. It was, it looked like hot garbage, and
I liked the other blonde, the other butch blonde, not the Cleopatra one. She was in John Woo's Once a Thief for one episode,
you
and
know, uh,
Mutant X. Mutant X. She was a main
who
character
was
in
the
Mutant X.
actress? Who do you guys remember the actress from? I think it was Hercules and maybe even Xena, who played Callista. You remember the character?
Xena,
I think she was in Xena. It was one of the two, if not both, because they had crossovers. Um,
Hercules.
she was like a really weird actress, and I can't recall having seen her do anything else. But I thought she was really good at what she did. Playing the psycho and not like the Harley Quinn kind of psycho.
Uh, Callista, you said.
hmm
I'm looking it up right now.
Sure, Brian, but they may not want it to get out into the news that because of budget cuts, Archaeotech decided to just, abandon a colony out there somewhere.
Callisto, you mean? Yeah, she was in 12 episodes of Xena and 5 episodes of Hercules. Um,
Hercules.
Hudson Like, but not spelt that way. She was in Shark for an episode. True Calling for an episode.
Yeah, she must have got
CSI for an
scooped up, married,
episode.
and started having kids. Is my guess, not to be, you know, mean or
Well,
anything,
I
but
can find out.
I thought she was
No
strange.
kids, no listed spouse.
Okay, so she's not into dudes. I got it. Um,
Not necessarily. Could just
I'm just
be
being
an
mean,
actress, right?
right? But yeah, Brian, you're right. There could be all kinds of reasons, but there would be a whole lot of reasons also for the company to not let that information out, because what's to keep a rival company from going, oh, you're going to abandon the colony? We'll step in and save their lives, and now have a whole new infrastructure on this built on this planet out in the middle of nowhere. And since the original company doesn't care, we're going to keep it a secret, and now we can do all kinds of black projects because you
Well,
know
also, like, yeah, putting a colony somewhere in system is not something people aren't going to see being done. It doesn't matter how non fiery your spaceship is. People with radars or whatever telescopes are going to see ships moving around.
right. But I mean,
So
when you get past the Jupiter and Saturn, it's going to be a little more
maybe
uh,
for the first 100 years,
right.
but after a while, it's
And
like, oh,
some of those
this planet
incidents
here, and
could cause the creation of interesting new cultures, or,
Yeah.
little
I-
fiefdoms and whatnot. But
right, that maybe the group of characters, their ships breaking down or something, and lo and behold, there's this little tiny forgotten colony, you know on an asteroid or one of the moons of some planet that most people don't think is a worthwhile venture, but lo and behold, they found a way to make it work. And you know for whatever reason, like that one episode of I think it was Next Generation with Eddie Murphy as one of the clones. The whole society was made up of clones,
timeline.
and they've got their secret, that's part of the adventure of the evening is to deal with whatever the secret is, and get the ship up and running and get the hell out of there with a really weird story to tell along the way.
Um, you know how the tabs work in Google Docs on
Vaguely, but not
on the
really.
side? I'm gonna create another one of mine called Timeline,
Okay.
and I'll put what the stupid AI pumped out, and you can just mess with it all you want.
One
Okay.
thing that
Let's see.
one thing could be in the timeline is besides just the technology of travel, but sort of the level of infrastructure. So some of the things could be that the Earth has a space elevator, or perhaps the Moon has a space elevator because
Okay,
Earth's
I see
space
it
elevator
here. Sorry.
might be it's a little too difficult, or an orbital ring, things like that, or it might be something else. The other thing is the option that, and it depends on what you want. And it's more about thematic for fun storytelling, not like trying to be realistic to what space colonization would be like. But one thing could be is that there may be factions that just go for the route of dismantling whatever material they can and creating O'Neill cylinders and things like that.
Okay, you have access to this document too, right,
George?
George?
I think I do. Let me see. Oh no, I can't submit.
Um,
I was about to leave
Exiles
this.
Venue?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that one.
okay, so I just switched it over to edit instead of comment. So you go into that timeline thing and just add that shit in there, and Shadow can just use that as a reference point.
Yeah, I see that. Wow. That, that took like seconds to create.
Well, because I did it over on thing and just pasted it in there, right?
Uh, I like it.
Okay. Okay, I haven't actually read it yet, so
I skimmed. I'm a pretty quick reader. Um,
yeah.
so
Um,
we've got some things to think about between now and next week. I'm going to say goodnight in just a minute here. I've
yeah.
got some other stuff I got to take care of. But,
Switch back over to
feel
the
free
show.
to, add to the conversation, folks out there in TV land, if you watch this later on, and give us some ideas if you think of things we didn't think about when it comes to
Cool.
space travel or other stuff, because we will move on once we get the way the characters can move about the game universe. Then we've got to you know patch up some other glaring holes in the entire universe,
Oh, cool.
so player characters can run around and do their thing and what they can worry about. I think we're going to have to do a big episode on robots and things like that, and
Weapons.
weapons, or conflict resolution. Whether it be melee shooting, warfare, ship to ship combat, and interstellar war. Because I'm sure there would have been at least one between now and 2424, and how that was resolved. I know a lot of people don't like the idea of starships being able to shoot at one another at those kinds of speeds, but I think when you take that out, you kind of take a lot of the fun out of sci-fi gaming.
Will psionics be in it, or you want to keep that kind of hidden?
Well, psionics exist, absolutely, um, and we will do at least a two-parter on that, because each one of the mega corporations, if they are not, you know, experimenting with that, they're going to be left behind. All the great sci-fi stories have had some element in it, whether it's what percentage of the story. Even Babylon 5, great example. It was not a huge part of it, but without it, it would have, over the course of the 4 or 5 years, you probably would have taken out a whole year's worth of content, I think. And it was very powerful to a point, but some games go, to where you can teleport from planet to planet and all kinds of crazy crap. And we'll need to create our brackets. You can do this to this and everything else in between, but nothing outside those brackets. Same with robots, combat, medical technology, and just general condition of society as a whole. I think is going to be vastly different 400 years from now, and there are going to be some things that will disappear and just become things of the past, and a lot of new things. In my lifetime alone, the things I've seen happen to society in the short time I've been here, uh, they've been pretty drastic in the last 50 plus years. We've seen a lot of things that my grandparents still would not be able to wrap their heads around. You know, heck, just in the last 20 years, there have been, things that have, become realities or, part of culture that they never saw coming. Never. So any last thoughts, guys, before we say goodnight?
No, I was just amending the question I asked to that list, so you guys could figure out how I
Okay.
got that from the AI.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, that is true. Obviously, things will be weird.
Yeah.
You won't recognize things, but
And, for Brian's sake, we will embrace the weird and not try to, stagnate it like a lot of science fiction has done. They've tried to,
Yeah.
forcefully keep it, understandable and relatable. I have no problem if we
well,
come up with something way different than we started with.
honestly, do you think I have been doing that? Haughty barbarians on Mars, sex
Yeah,
robot corporations,
yeah.
like fuck, man. I've been doing all the weird shit here.
Well, I think
This
we
guy
will.
with his fucking ayahuasca smoking underwater cities.
Uh-huh.
It's fun.
That's one
And
of the things I like about science fiction the most, and why we've been doing this for so long, is because it seems like there's more room to grow in science
Mhm.
fiction than there is fantasy. Don't get me wrong, I still have my love and appreciation for the fantasy stories, but to really experiment and to really provoke engaging conversations and thought experiments,
Yeah.
yeah,
there's nothing like
I
science fiction.
yeah, I feel like it can be more imaginative in science fiction. Sounds kind of weird because like there's less rules in fantasy, but sci-fi
Mhm.
somehow it just seems that, at least as creating something, it's feels more
Sky's the limit,
imaginative.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Any
go.
homework for next week?
Yeah, just what we were talking about, thinking about some of the aspects of space travel. Maybe even go at it from your corporation's point of view, what they would, excel at. Maybe your company actually still uses chemical propulsion, but they've come up with new chemicals. Ways to grow their fuel as opposed to mine and process it. It's that is a thing that could be a thing.
Slowly turning the solar system into an energy cloud again.
Mm.
You know, it all starts as or not an energy cloud, a gas cloud. Starts as a gas cloud, becomes a solar system, and then life forms get there and turn it back into a gas cloud.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Feeding DMT
Thanks,
to your
Brian. You
computer.
too, brother.
Yeah. Uh,
So I'm going to say goodnight. I will see you
All right.
guys, some of you tomorrow, and the rest of you I'll see Monday on this guy's show.
party on.
Monday, noon.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock
Oh,
my
what?
time.
Okay, sorry.
Remember, we moved it back.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to cut that second hour off.
Hey,
Nah, I don't care.
everybody out there, have yourself a great weekend.
All right.
I will see you
Party
guys
on.
real soon.